Hey, what's up, guys? Node Investor here. Want to bring a quick update on Bitcoin. This chart is getting very tight, very narrow, and a breakout is imminent one way or the other. And there's a couple of levels I want to point out here. We'll also take a quick look at some of the other names I'm watching here. But as you guys know, Bitcoin has a heavy influence on this market and will certainly drive the upcoming couple of days based on the direction that this trend breaks out of. So looking at the big picture first, going to the daily chart, you can see we've had a very healthy consolidation here over the last 4 or 5 days. We've continued to hold this rising 10 EMA on the daily chart, but if you look underneath the surface, there's been some back and forth action. During my update on Friday, I mentioned this was very healthy. I wanted to see a couple of more days of sideways action. We have seen that, and now the chart is forming a little bit of a bull pennant here with a breakout imminent in the next day or so, and most likely today. You can see here the higher lows that continue to form with the overhead resistance line also narrowing there. You can give that a little bit more room and go to the wicks here if you want on the candles, but the result is the same. You're seeing this pattern really starting to narrow out here, and you can see here this will culminate here over the next day or so, and usually they tend to move out of the range before you hit the apex of that pattern. I'm also watching a lower support resistance level here, which will form a bullish ascending triangle pattern. You can see that forming here on this 4-hour chart. So the early indicator will be a break above this bull pennant, which will break out of this ascending triangle pattern. Ultimately, we're going to have to retest that $9,800 mark, but this would be very bullish to see this momentum take out to the upside and get above this $9,500 mark here today. So that's the level I'm going to be watching. On the downside, it's pretty clear this rising trend has been the support level over the weekend, over the last few days. And you can see all these pullbacks into that zone have continued to see buyers step in, and so that's very healthy. Keep in mind on the daily chart, this is also the rising 10 EMA, and so we're going to see this thing play out here over the next couple of days. Now this is a little bit neutral of a pattern. It could go either way. We could break to the downside. So the level to watch is that $9,100 mark here near term, but on the upside, 94, 9,500 is really the level that I'm going to be paying attention to. But right now, I'm leaning bullish. This is a continuation pattern following a strong run. It was a very healthy rest period for a few days. And also the alts that I'm watching just continue to be strong. We're just seeing rotation to new names, new breakouts. This was a very strong weekend. Generally, the weekends have been a little bit quiet here over the last month or so, but this weekend, we saw some strong moves in names like NEO, Quantum, and so you're continuing to see names run. You saw Tron, and the action just continues to go. Ontology, EOS just hitting new highs, and so all around the alts remain favorable. There's new setups that I'm watching today. There's a lot of names that are starting to edge out of resistance, starting to break out here. So this just leads me to believe that we're going to see some follow through to the upside here on the Bitcoin side, but the alts continue to show some stellar performance here. Let's take a quick look at a few names to watch here. So I mentioned NEO. NEO had a strong move. This is the NEO dollar chart. You can see that big volume came in, pushed it out of range here, broke out. Right now it's staging a little bit of a secondary entry point, a good pullback right to support here. You can see this was the breakout point. The volume popped it above. Now it's pulling right back here on this moving average. So a nice little bit of a rest pullback here, but all in all, looking good. Odds favor this continues higher after this small pullback. ETH also looking strong. This one will follow suit with Bitcoin, so I'm watching this one here. This is setting up a nice little base here near the highs, the most recent highs here in around that $700 mark, and it's getting very tight, very narrow here over the last couple of days. And so my guess is this is just looking at BTC waiting for that next direction. But keep an eye on ETH. If you look at the ETH BTC chart, that's continuing to remain strong as well. We'll go to the Bittrex chart here, and you can see it's just been outperforming Bitcoin here for the last couple of weeks. A little bit of a rest pause area here, so we'll see if this can continue higher over the next few days if Bitcoin breaks out. Another name I'm watching here is basic attention token. So this had a very strong run here last week or a couple of weeks ago, and then for the last week and a half it's just been sitting tight, consolidating some of this move, letting this moving average catch up. But this pattern is looking very strong. If you go to the 4-hour chart, it's just consolidating right below that resistance point, and it looks like it wants to set up for another leg higher, so keep an eye on. You're also seeing a lot of action in some of the smaller mid-cap names coming off of the lows here, and you can see QuantStamp, just the accumulation that I'm seeing here, the volume continues to build momentum to the upside. It's right at resistance here, but this one has certainly been moving very strongly here over the last day. Stratus also broke out of the week over the weekend. I was watching this little consolidation here and then just blew right through that resistance with some very strong volume, putting in a little bit of a secondary entry here right now. So definitely keep an eye on Stratus. This one looks like it wants to go higher. This is just a little bit of a pause, pullback, normal after a strong move like that. But you can see where these end. They end right above the prior resistance point, which is now the new support level. And this pullback has been constructive. You can see the volume on the pullback has been getting lighter and lighter, and it's letting the moving average catch up. And so what I'd be watching for is a trend of a break of this downtrend for another leg higher. But this one's looking really good here. If you go to the daily chart, it's just been forming this big bottoming pattern here with a strong consolidation here over the course of a week and a half, and then finally breaks out. It's right at the next resistance level here. So if you move this line up here, you can see that's where this most recent jump paused at, and above that then I'm looking for probably another let me see, from this current level about 15 to 30% more to the upside from here. And finally, Chainlink, one I've been watching. This downtrend has finally been broken. Very strong volume came on this move here over the last couple of hours. If you go to the 4-hour chart here, you can see there's just two big strong bars here in the last 4 hours. So a little bit extended near term, but very good action. I expect this one to continue higher here, maybe a little bit of a pause, pull back here, a bull flag of some sort on the 1 hour would be very healthy. But you can just see here, after sitting tight here for about a day or so, right below this resistance, this downtrend line, it just blew right through that with some very strong volume. And so looking at the daily chart, this is a nice breakout of this downtrend line. So I expect Chainlink to start outperforming here over the next week. That's going to be it, guys. I will be on travel in Los Angeles at the Crypto Investment Summit here for the next couple of days. So I won't be doing any updates unless anything crazy happens in the market here for the next couple of days. But I will be posting updates on Twitter, so follow me there. Check me out at nodeinvestor.com. Until next time, take care, everyone.